Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your 2017-2018 school year. I am Miss Jarvis, one of the assistant principals here. We are thrilled to have you back at school. And to make sure we have a very successful year, we are going to go over some policies in our student handbook. So again, welcome back. We're really glad you're here. Hoping today is a great day and a great school year. We are going to go over just some portions of the handbook. To view the full handbook, you can go here to this link right on Jefferson's website. You can see the full student handbook there. Today's presentation will just be a couple of highlights. All students are responsible for knowing and abiding by all rules as outlined in the student handbook. So when you get a chance, go on that website and check out the full thing. Here is your Jefferson administration. Our principal here, Mr. Anderson, assistant principal, Mr. Hall, assistant principal, Ms. Jarvis, that's me, Mr. Musil, our dean of students, and Mr. Nyberg, our activities director. Something to point out to you is that alphabets have been switched up a little bit between assistant principals and counselors. We'll go over counselors in a little bit, but Mr. Hall now serves students with the last names A through L. Ms. Jarvis now serves students with the last names M through Z, and Mr. Musil helps with all students. Last year that was broken up a little bit differently. All right, so one of the first things we want to discuss is academic integrity, which can also be known as cheating or plagiarism. In high school, this is a very big deal, and we want to make sure that all of the work we turn into our teachers is always our original work. Examples of cheating do include plagiarism, so copying someone else's work, whether that's from a website, a book, another student, turning something in that is not yours. If you receive any unauthorized materials, like someone took a picture of a test and sends it to you, you should inform us immediately, so then you are not held responsible for having that content. You cannot have an electronic device out during a test without permission from the teacher. So make sure your phone is away, make sure your Chromebook is away. Even if it's out on your desk, it can be considered cheating. You can't access notes during a test if the teacher says it's not an open book test. You cannot share formative work, so homework, study guides, that is considered cheating as well. No taking pictures of assessments, no stealing or receiving answers, really anything that compromises test security. A really important thing to note is that there can be a code of conduct violation, so if you're involved in a sport or activity, cheating can actually affect you in that regard as well. You will earn a 0 on the assignment. You may have to redo the assignment. Not something you want to get yourself involved in. And also note that violations are cumulative over your high school career. So if you have a cheating violation in 9th grade, it can still affect you in 12th grade. That doesn't go away for any reason. So be smart and always turn in your own work. If you come to school with an electronic device, that you do so at your own risk. Your phone cannot be on during the school day. It is disruptive to the classroom environment. Your phone can be taken and may be held until the end of the class period or the end of the school day, or sometimes until a parent picks it up. So please do not use your phone during class when you're not supposed to. Of course, Chromebooks are permissible when your teacher says so. Other electronic devices, iPods, iPads, headphones, check in with your teacher. Generally, these things need to be put away. It's okay to use these things during lunch and during passing time. So again, once in a while, we do have things that go missing, so hold on to your electronic devices. Don't leave them somewhere and walk away, and make sure that you got your eyes on them at all times. You cannot use your cell phone to contact students in other classes, to take photos of other students, staff, faculty, or other personnel at any time. This is especially true without people's permission. Once in a while, we'll have someone do this and then they'll post it to Snapchat or Twitter or something like that, and that is absolutely not allowed and definitely will result in a consequence. Absolutely no cell phones out in bathrooms or in locker rooms. You cannot take any images of schoolwork and distribute that, and you don't want to access social networking sites during the school day. Once in a while, if the administration deems it appropriate, phones can be looked at, and that means anything in your phone can be subject to a search. So just be smart about using your phones here during the school day. We certainly don't want to use them in a way that's harmful to other students or staff. My advice to you is to not use social media during the school day. We've had a lot of incidents of unsafe and unethical behaviors. Again, these things that might be inappropriate could result in a consequence or in the loss of a Minnesota State High School League eligibility or school privilege. So please don't use social media during the day. And just remember, once it's out there, even if you think it might be deleted. Unfortunately, sometimes we come across things that people thought were deleted, and there they are with a hurtful message. Every student in this entire building has the right to come to school each day and not be harassed or bullied in any way. Bullying includes anything that's physical, verbal, written, or gestures that is perceived as being dehumanizing, intimidating, hostile, humiliating, threatening, or otherwise likely to evoke fear of physical or emotional distress. The person who is being bullied is the one who decides how that is perceived. So you may be making fun of someone thinking it's just a joke, and if that person takes it a different way, then that is bullying. Please just be nice. Please be respectful. If you have any questions about this or feel that you are a victim of any bullying, you'll want to go see your counselor or administrator right away. We are here to help. One thing to note, that when you do enter the school building, your personal belongings are subject to search at any time. And so just be smart when you're coming to school. We don't want you to come to school with anything that could be a violation of school policy. So don't come to school with any weapons, any drugs, e-cigarettes, things like that. These are not allowed to be on campus at any time. A search may include backpack, bags, wallets, purses, cars, cell phones, and lockers. A student and a student's possessions and their vehicle may be searched, whether it's on campus, on school grounds, and sometimes things can be turned over to the police. So please just continue to be smart about what you bring to school, and just know that things are subject to search. When you are in the hallway during class time, you are expected to have a hall pass. All of your teachers have a hall pass hanging probably right by their door. It has a blue lanyard and a blue pass on it. You need to have that with you anytime you leave the classroom. Please abide by all classroom rules when you are leaving class. If you're in the hall without a pass, you may be subject to lunch detention. All students are expected to arrive to class on time. If you come to school late, you need to come in door number 1, that's the main entrance, and sign in at the attendance office. An unexcused tardy of 10 or more minutes is considered an unexcused absence. So if you come in more than 10 minutes, that's no longer a tardy, it's an unexcused absence. Once you're in class, you're expected to stay in class and not leave. If you do decide to leave class early, that is also considered an unexcused absence. If you accumulate enough unexcused absences, you may lose credit for that class. Students may need to serve a lunch detention. It runs all lunch periods during the school day. You'll be assigned a lunch detention for being tardy to class. It takes place in F101, which is a dance studio up near the girls' locker room, and it's always staffed by a teacher. Should you have a lunch detention, you are expected to serve it. Failure to do so may result in further consequences, including an out-of-school suspension. What you will do is you'll go to that room, you'll check in, you'll go get your lunch, and come back and eat it in the lunch detention room. We do not have after-school detention, so there's no reason to stay after school. You can take care of any detentions right during the school day. If you need to drop or add a course to your schedule, you can do so for the following reasons. Credit for a scheduled course was earned during summer school. You do not have the prerequisite for a scheduled course. The course is at an inappropriate academic level for you, or an error was made by the scheduling office during testing. These are the only reasons that a course can be added or dropped. Schedule adjustments other than those stated above may only be arranged prior to and up to the first 2 days of the trimester. So in the past, this went much longer. This year, you have 2 days to make any changes that you may need to make. All schedule change requests must be made by filling out a form, which you can get from the counseling office by the 2nd day of the trimester. Additionally, all course drops should be completed prior to the trimester beginning. This form is due by 2 p.m. on the 2nd day of the new trimester, and you can see those dates right here when you would need to turn that in by. Any course drops after this deadline may result in an F on the student's transcript. Course changes requested past the 2nd day of the trimester will require parent, counselor, and administrative approval. And an F will result on a transcript for any course drop for any reason 10 or more days into the trimester. This is especially important to note when you're choosing your courses and registration, that there's not much wiggle room, so choose those courses very wisely. As you've probably noticed, we have this beautiful new flex space throughout the building. Great space and also great new furniture. Please respect these spaces and use them wisely. We don't want students spilling food on them, feet on the furniture. These are really awesome spaces, and we're one of the few schools in the Twin Cities to have such great spaces like this, so we want to keep them beautiful and easy to use for a long time. The spaces are to be used to study, work on group projects, and collaborate and learn. This is not a cafeteria. You should not be coming here with lunch or breakfast. You will stay in the building for all hybrid and flex classes. So if your class flexes out for a certain amount of time, you need to stay in the building and utilize the flex space. If you are working independently in one of the areas and a class needs to use that area, you may be asked to relocate, and we ask that you please do so. We do have a testing room here at Jefferson that you can utilize if you are absent and you miss a test. It is in C16, which is a lower C wing. Slightly new hours this year from 7:30 to 4. So if you miss a test, your teacher will discuss with you when you can retake that test, and then the teacher will help you make that appointment at the testing center. So they'll tell the testing center, hey, this student is coming in at this date and time, and you're expected to show up at that date and time to take your test. You will discuss that with your teacher. You won't be missing another class to take it, but you are expected to show up at the time of your appointment. If you miss your appointment, you'll have the opportunity to either make a new appointment or test after school only. You will not be able to just drop in. If your teacher asks you to take a test and the test has been sitting there for more than 2 weeks, the test will be returned to the teacher and you may not be able to take it. Drop-in times for test taking are after school only, and all tests need to be completed by 4 p.m. So if you have a really big test that would last the whole class period, don't show up at 3:45 to take that test. You'll need a longer period of time to take it. Should you need to leave school early, you need to make sure that you're signing out appropriately. So if you become sick during the school day, it's fine to let your parents know that, but you need to go to the nurse's office to sign out there, and then the nurse can excuse you that way. That way we're able to keep track of where you are, and it makes it really easy just to leave the building once the nurse excuses you and has gotten a hold of a parent. If you need to leave early for any other reason, have your parent or guardian call our 24-hour attendance message line. They'll leave a message, we'll send a pass to your classroom, and then you'll get the pass, come up to the attendance office, sign out, and leave the building through the main entrance. Many behavior violations are outlined in the handbook, just to show you a couple of them here. We do have pretty strict consequences for possession of drugs and alcohol, for distributing, sharing, giving away, or selling drugs or alcohol, tobacco or e-cigarette use, fighting or assaults, or weapons. So please do not engage in these activities during the school day. Something to note is that the e-cigarette policy, if you're in possession or use of an e-cigarette, the consequence is a 1 to 2 day in-school suspension and 2 to 3 school day out of school suspension, which is a bit different from last year. Again, if you visit the handbook, you can see everything outlined there. We have a program called Jefferson After Hours, which takes place in the Media Center after school until 3:30, Monday through Thursday. It is staffed by a teacher and sometimes our National Honor Society student tutors. It's a great place to study after school and go for help. Something to note is that our career and college counselor, Ms. Wallerick, will be in there every Monday. So if you're behind on your PGP or you need some help looking at colleges or you need some help on ACT studying, that is a great place to go for that help. I realize that you are 9th and 10th graders, but it is never too early to start planning for college. If you're not sure where to go for help and you need something, just go visit your counselor. Ms. Miller is our counselor for students with the last names A through FL. Ms. Erickson for students with the last names FO through LI. Ms. Everett for students with the last name LO through RE, and Ms. Kretzmeyer for students with the last names RI through Z. The counseling office is located next to the main office, which is right across from the auditorium. You just stop in there, let the assistants there know that you need to see your counselor, and they will make sure that you have an appointment. We hope you guys have an awesome year. Please reach out if there's anything that we can do to help. Again, welcome to the 2017-18 school year. Go Jags!